What's up, you guys? So the other day I was sitting around thinking, because I get all of these comments of people suggesting and on the borderline of yelling at me sometimes, telling me that I cannot keep using heat on my hair, that that's the reason that my hair is thin, and just a lot of things in that area. And first and foremost, I'd like to say that I am aware that heat styling is not good for your hair. I'm aware of that. But the natural texture of my hair along with the length actually doesn't let me not heat style my hair. I have tried. Once it's dry, I kind of have to straighten it, and that's because it just gets matted so easily, especially in the back after I've been sleeping. And it's almost, I feel, more damaging for me to like try and rake out all of these mats with a hairbrush. Whereas if I run a straightener over it a couple of times, it just almost like completely falls out by itself. And then also having straight hair is a preventative measure as far as not letting the matting happen. So in my particular case, I cannot get out of heat styling. It's just not in the cards for me. But while I was sitting around trying to think of ways that I could naturally let it dry straight, I ended up down the YouTube wormhole of people and their ideas on how to naturally have it dry straight. If you haven't seen any of those videos, basically what a lot of people swear by is getting a bunch of bobby pins and clips and stuff and wrapping their hair around like their scalp very tightly when it's wet and then bobby pinning it in place. If that's a method that you already use or you are looking into it, then by all means go ahead. There's nothing really you can lose. Just for me personally, my hair would not stay in the bobby pins, and I need like 90 of them. And also, I don't know if this is because my hair is so long, but even when I did take it all out, the ones that were still in there were still kind of all like swooping to one side because, I mean, you're kind of tugging it a certain way. So once I established that that was not a method that would work for me, I started thinking about these things that my sister had when she was like really young, and she used to do ballet. But they were like these little mesh sock things almost. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll try and put a picture of them here and you will know what I'm talking about. And then when I was online looking for, I think they're called curl formers, I actually found wave formers. So instead of it going in like a spiral, it just kind of goes in like a wave. I don't know why I had to show you that. I feel like you know what that is. So these are all of the wave formers that I bought, and I got them from Amazon. I will link them or something very similar or identical down below. What I wanted to try and do, because we have curl formers, we have wave formers, I was like, where the hell are the straight formers at? So I'm going to try and straighten these bad boys. I mean, you can see where I'm going with this. Hopefully they will make my hair dry straight. I'm not even looking for like dead straight, sleek, like ready to go out straight. I just need it so that even if I'm like bumming around the house, I don't need to be heat styling my hair for it to not become a bird's nest. So this is one wave former. It's almost like a giant Chinese finger trap, which is something that I actually put in the search bar when I was looking for these and I couldn't think of what it was. So I was like, hair finger trap, Chinese hair trap, I don't know. Now, of course, my initial concern was that if I put any heat on this, it may just like melt the plastic altogether. I'm gonna put some kind of fabric over it, and then I will just straighten it a couple of times, or probably more than a couple of times, until it is straight. And then if the straightener isn't enough, I will probably try with an iron. Okay, so I have my trusty hair straightener. I have got my practice wave formal, and I have this old pillowcase that I found from when we were painting. So I'm just going to grab this and put it in the pillowcase. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's what I'm stretching in there. My straightener feels pretty hot. I think it's working. I have been doing this for I think 10 minutes now, around 10 minutes. When I got to like 5 minutes, I stopped using the pillowcase because it was getting annoying not being able to see what I was doing. So I turned my straightener down to the lowest setting that I had, and I've literally just been straightening it over and over and over again. My hands hurt very much. but I'm very pleased with how straight I've gotten it so far. It does tend to like bubble up a tiny bit, like when you get it straight. I'm not entirely sure why, but I don't see that being a problem when you put your hair through it, because as long as there's something there to stop it from actually developing a curl, I think gravity is just going to sort itself out. But I have noticed that this stuff actually does take heat very well. It's not going to, or it doesn't seem like it's going to melt or stick together, but my hands already hurt after 10 minutes. So I think I am going to try ironing them, because I think I'll be able to do more than one at a time.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll
So it's not like I just straightened it straight, but in comparison to how my hair normally dries, this is pretty good. My technique definitely could have been better, like because there's like this kink here. I must have done something, but I'm thinking maybe that's going to just work itself out after I've left it out for a bit. Okay, so I finally cleaned myself up and I thought I would sit down and tell you about the whole experience that I just went through. So the first clip that you saw was me putting them in my hair after I'd washed it. That was at like, I want to say 9 or 10 this morning. And then when I was taking them out, it was I think 2 o'clock. So it took estimated like 3 to 4 hours for my hair to dry enough for me to take them out. But even when I did take them out, they were like the tiniest bit damp still, so I probably could have left them on longer. But as you can probably tell between when I took them off and now, which it's 5 o'clock now, I feel like gravity has like helped. So it being damp actually helped a little bit, because I think some of the kinks are like less pronounced now. So this is how it turned out. Easily able to run my fingers through it. As I said, it's not perfectly straight. It is definitely an improvement on how curly my hair usually dries. As you might recall in the start of the video, I said that I wasn't intending this to look like I just straightened my hair. I'm just trying to get it manageable and not so naughty, which if I'm judging the experiment just on that alone, I would class it as a massive success. Like I would never be able to do this in my naturally dried hair. Even with a hairbrush, it's impossible. I do feel like if I had have been more purposeful in where I placed them, like if I had have layered my hair and actually put them side by side, I would have been able to achieve a lot better results and not have like the random kinks that I do. Like you can really see it back here. So in the future, I will take into consideration the technique in putting them in. Also, I do want to look into having some kind of anti-frizz serum in my hair. I did use the Bumble and Bumble, I think that's more of like a heat protectant, but it did say anti-frizz. It was the only thing I owned that said anti-frizz, so I thought I would try that. But I do think if I use this in the future, I'm going to try and find a really good anti-frizz serum. So if anyone has any recommendations on good anti-frizz serums, please leave them down below. I guess to sum up my final thoughts on this method of heatlessly straightening your hair, for my purposes, it is a success. If you want like dead straight hair, then I'm not quite sure yet if that's going to be achievable this way. I'm sure the more times I do this, I will be able to like iron the kinks out, both figuratively and literally. But at the end of the day, if I have to really think about it, the reason I was trying to get out of heat styling my hair is because not only the extreme heat on the strands of hair, but like the yanking down motion of it seems like it wouldn't help with hair loss. But that being said, I'm not sure if this method is that much better, where yes, I'm avoiding the heat aspect of it, but I'm also walking around with honestly a pretty minimum weight to my hair. It's more just awkward because there's these things like dangling from your head that are a little bit stiff, but even as lightweight as they are, it still is extra weight on your hair. So if you aren't someone who struggles with hair loss and you just have normal hair, then I completely see no issue in using this method. I imagine it working really well for people who have extremely curly hair. My hair is on the verge of being like wavy curly, and that's only because it's so long that the weight of it on its own kind of doesn't allow it to be as curly as it's supposed to be. But I can definitely see this helping people out that have really curly hair. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this little experiment. It was a ton of fun to do, and I encourage anybody who is also curious about it to try it out as well. I will leave the link down below to the ones that I got. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you as part of the family, as I'm sure all of us would. There's almost 50,000 of us in the family right now, and I am so excited because that means I get to do another giveaway soon. I've been racking my brain to think of like a really awesome way to do it, so hopefully that happens soon. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I will do my very best to get back to you in a timely manner. And yeah, that's all I have today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
Hey, Daisy. What are you doing?